generally, it has been NXT, PLE, AOK. The week-to-week shows have been the ones which have left me wondering, and as this is the granddaddy of them all, WrestleMania weekend, you'll expect Stand and Deliver. Of course, it's a PLE. You'll expect that PLE to be something special, and it is. Eventually, we do have a kick-off match. I don't want to mention too much about that because it starts proper. It is for the number one contender for the women's tag team belts, and the proper streaming, I didn't watch it live, I watched it on Netflix, starts with Ricky Saints defending his North American belt against Ethan Page. And it's an interesting way to start your streaming proper, because these are two solid, similar fighters. There isn't anything about them you think, big man versus small man, how are they going to mesh? You know they're going to mesh because they have similar styles. And it was okay. There were some big spots. I liked Ricky Saints' Tornado DDT. I liked Ethan Page, the back suplex over the top to the matting on the floor. I really liked Saints' Power Slam and Michinoku Driver combo. And the way Page grabs the wrist and pulls people into moves. A Power Slam on this occasion. And of course he did get his ego's edge for a 2.999 recurring, but the Rochambeau finished things. And it was okay. It was okay. So it started in a solid way. And then we've got the Tag Team Championship match. Now, just to let you know, I'm not going to go through all the matches here. One of the matches, which is La Famiglia versus Dark State, I'm not going to really talk about. Why would you? Anyway, this is the tag team match, and it's going to be interesting because, well, Tank and Hank, first of all, have been, well, we're losers, we can't win anything. They won the gauntlet last week on NXT week-to-week programming, so they might well win this. That would be a surprise if they did, wouldn't it? But you never know. I believe that Fraxium, there's two things. The first thing is that NXT are constantly saying how wonderful Fraxium are. They're right. And secondly, they're not doing anything with Fraxium. It's weird, isn't it? You've got this abundance of riches and you're leaving this shiny bauble in a box of trinkets and saying, well, actually, we'll pick this one out, which is not half as shiny. It's labelled Hank and Tank. Why aren't they doing more with Fraxium? Why aren't Fraxium on TV most weeks? They're fantastic together, and it would be a shame if they didn't keep their titles. Now, this match was an odd one because Hank and Tank are big bruisers. That's what they do. They've got some high-flying ability, not much. They're mainly bros who are bruisers. And Fraxium want to be quick. And in this match, they had to calm it down a little, and they're not at their best when they do that. I mean, there were some nice moments, like Tank's huge clothesline, Nathan Frazier's standing shooting star press. I really like Tank's power bomb and the Hurricane Rana from Fraxium. Got the Phoenix Splash early, well, earlier than usual. That was a kick out, not a surprise. And then the clothesline off the top from Hank and Tank and the splash for the 2.999 recurring was very nice. I also thought that one of the moments when I think it was Hank really, I mean, he might as well have sent a telegram, because he did telegraph it quite strongly. I'm going to go up to the top, folks. I'm going to dive to the outside. Nathan Frazier's here. He's on the announce table. Here I come. Just a minute. I'll be coming in a minute. Wait a minute. Oh, he's not there. Yeah, no water in the pool. And he crashes and burns on the announce table. The Super Spanish Fly and then the Phoenix Splash was broken up, which I really liked. And Hank and Tank got 2 sandwiches. Those sandwiches are meaty, but not particularly tasty for me. And they got the pin. So they are the new tag team champions. And Fraxium continue to be misused. Now, this Zarya versus Izzy Dame versus Lola Vice versus Sol Ruka versus Jordan versus the Hale bloody hell ladder match. There's too many in it, in my view. Too many. Could have been an absolute mess, and it wasn't. And that's testament to all of the contenders. It was for the vacant Women's North American belt, which of course Stephanie Vaquer had to give up by order of Ava, I think it was. She didn't seem very happy to do it when she gave it up. I'm not surprised. And yeah, it's for that vacant title. There were some nice moments in this, including Thea Hale's Tilt-A-Whirl DDT. She's a grown-ass woman, folks. She'll tell you all the time. Grown-ass woman. I liked Kalani Jordan coming in early, hot, and handling Sol Ruka. Ruka's slingshot clothesline was nice, though. Zari was one-dimensional for me, but her double clothesline and spear, and that ladder spot where she, put it on her head and turned round and people got clonked with it. You could hear the clonks, really hear the clonks. The clonks resounded, the clonks, and the clunks, if you like. Either way, they were good spots. She also got backdropped onto a ladder, which was nice. I thought that Jordan's moonsault off the apron and then backdropping Izzy Dame onto a ladder was lovely. Vice and Jordan fought on the ladder, which was... There was a moment also where, I can't remember who it was, pulled Jordan off the ladder, but she stayed on the ladder so she did a split. It was a bit weird. Vice got those machine gun kicks in, but she hit a back fist into the ladder. That much. It's aluminium, or aluminum, as they say across the pond. No, aluminium. A Dame powerbomb halfway up the ladder was just lovely. I liked Izzy Hale, Izzy Dame and Thea Hale, Steve. Thea Hale's leg capture suplex to Kalani Jordan into a ladder, and I liked also, although I thought it was a bit ridiculous, Thea Hale almost getting the belt and Izzy Dame pulling the ladder to her so that the belt is behind Thea Hale's head. She then ruined it by getting up the other side of the ladder and reaching for the belt. Now, if Thea Hale can't reach it, Izzy, and she's on the other side of the ladder, how are you going to bloody well reach it? And you just pulled her away from the belt anyway, you fool. Of course, we've got Sol Ruka and Zarya as tag team partners. Yeah, all of that. She saved Zarya from Kalani Jordan. The culling came down to ringside purely to be thrown onto. Zarya threw Jordan onto the culling, and later on, is there another one? Did she come straight? I think earlier on they were covered as well. They had to grab someone. I think it was Jordan. Yeah, I think she came off onto everybody. Anyway, in the end, we've got Sol and Zarya on the ladder. Sol overplayed this so badly. I really like Sol Ruka's work, but she looked at the audience and did the kind of, oh my God, what am I going to do? She's my friend. Yeah, looked at the crowd and did all that sadness. Then they got some shots. There was a back kick from Sol. She skinned the cat and got to the top of the ladder. That should have been the finish. It really should. It wasn't. There was a little bit more shenanigans before Sol captured that belt and the crowd seemed to be into it. Just finished with the skin the cat over the top of the ladder because she needed to turn around, and she did. That was beautifully done. Not seen that before. Finish on that. They didn't, though. Now, that was a good match. Enjoyed it. And Vaquer versus Julia versus Parker versus Grace was frenetic as well. Not as good as the ladder match, to be honest, but it was okay. It seemed as though a lot was going on, including a Vaquer back suplex, Parker off the top taking everybody out, not for a nice meal or a fancy shrimp dinner, just smacking them all to the mat, that stuff. Crowd were booing when Jordan Grace prevented Stephanie Vaquer's "I turn you over to the mat and smack your face into it" repeatedly. Grace got a double German suplex. That got her back into the crowd's good graces. Julia missile dropkick was nice. And of course, Julia and Vaquer did face off. They traded shots. There was a headbutt traded. Julia beat her down, actually. Then got the pullback on the arm, stomped the face to the mat. You could clearly see that Vaquer turned her head so that she didn't get the real problem with breaking the nose. And I did enjoy the way that Jada Parker stacked all three contenders between the buckles, but then she didn't do anything. I really liked that. It was new, but then she didn't do anything with it. She basically jumped on the ropes, sat on the foot on them all, or sat on one so the other. It wasn't. You needed a bigger move than that. You needed to get up and stomp, get up to the top and do a stomp, that sort of thing. I really liked the submission. I think was it on Parker? It was a submission from both Vaquer and Grace, one on the legs, one on the head. That was very nice. Of course, Stephanie Vaquer got her smack into the mat stuff. She got it on everybody, I think, and then hit her finisher for the pin. You weren't really going to let anybody else win here because Vaquer's already vacated one belt, and if she had have lost, I would have thought, well, why has she vacated that? Why have you asked her to do that when she just lost that one? You know, so Jordan Grace, what does this mean for, well, first of all for Julia, who's gone bad, and I'm not sure if she'll get shuffled into the pack, but Jordan Grace is your bright and shiny person coming in from Impact, isn't she? She seems to have been shuffled into the pack as well. I'm not quite sure where she goes from here with WWE, but I fear for it. Now, that was good. It was good. Not great, but good. Here's your main event, and it's Javon Evans versus Trick Williams versus Oba Femi. Again, this triple threat has got an enormous amount of action in it. It looks frenetic, it looks busy, it looks like they all really care. I don't think it's a fantastic match. There were some really good high spots in it. In fact, I thought this was a bit of a high spot fest. I didn't listen to it with the commentary on, so it seemed like more of a high spot fest for me. Javon Evans has been getting an enormous amount of action, both on the mic and, you know, knocking down both Trick and knocking down Oba Femi. I didn't think he'd win here. I thought Femi would come through. Spoiler alert, that's what happened, folks. But Trick was the one that looked like he couldn't really hang with them both. There were a lot of high spots here, including Femi picking both opponents up and hitting a Samoan drop because he's got freakish strength. A military press from Oba to a gutbuster for Javon Evans, which can't have been nice. Trick pulling Javon Evans up into a Michinoku driver. That was a thing of beauty. And a slingshot moonsault from Evans, which was lovely as well. Now, this is one of your big moments. So you've got Trick on Oba Femi's shoulders, and they walk over to the corner where Javon Evans is going up to the top to execute a move. Trick grabs him so that they are all in a vertical suplex position. So Femi's got Trick in a vertical suplex, who's got Evans in a vertical suplex, and then the vertical suplex. And he walks around for a while, does Femi, with them all there. They all managed to hold on and keep their back straight for this, which is a feat in itself. And then that move is executed. That looked great. It was a high spot, but it did look good. Now, although Femi hooked up, trademark, hooked up and hit a double choke slam, that wasn't the beginning of the end for the other two, because Trick got a knee in there. Evans hit a nasty kick and a splash, but then Femi grabbed him from a recumbent position in the goozle. Oh, he got him in the goozle. And Evans turned that into a face buster for a 2.999 recurring. Also, after Trick had to pull Femi out because he got an uppercut to Evans as he came off the top. That must have jarred his jaw. Not as much as Ethan Page did recently. They've forgotten about that angle, haven't they? Jaw seems fine now, doesn't it? or nose or whatever it was. I've forgotten. I could go back and check, but I can't be bothered. So yeah, he covered him after that marvellous move, and Trick had to pull him off Evans, but Evans then hit and off the second rope cutter for a 2.999 recurring, and he is getting more near falls, windy pop, excuse me, than anybody else, folks. It's looking very good here, very, very good. But then it's almost as if Femi thinks, I've had enough of this, I've had enough of you young upstarts showing me up, I'm going to throw you through the barricade, which he does. It's a standard WWE spot, isn't it? And that's what happened. But then Trick hits a Uranagi to Femi through the announce table. It's another trope from the WWE, but fair enough. Trick then almost gets a pin, but Femi stops the ref from counting. Now look, I've asked this question in a podcast yesterday. This is a triple threat, so you can't disqualify the wrestlers for moves on each other, but can the ref stop this and disqualify someone for being fiddled with? I suspect he can, but he doesn't. Match continues, and Evans gets that lovely corkscrew off the top, but forced to a kick from Trick. The Trick kick is slick, and Obafemi hits that big power bomb on Evans for the pin. Trick didn't look good here. Not as good. He got some moves in, but it was really Evans. Who, you see, Femi doesn't need to do as much because he's the champion, and he showed he has freaky strength. Of course he did. But didn't look as good, Trick. And that's a problem, I think, for Trick, because where'd you go now, mate? To continue with this hunt for your belt? Because Evans is in that title contention now. He's not a North American title contender. He's not going to beat Ricky Saints. So you're still going to have a triple threat, aren't you? Unless they do something else with Trick. Maybe he can fight with Eddie Thorpe again. That was good last time, wasn't it? Anyway, Stand and Deliver did deliver. Eventually. Took a while to get going. It stood around. Then it delivered. See what I'm doing there? Quality work, this. Steveswifts Rambling Reviews. Have a listen. Have a look. You'll enjoy it, I'm sure. Ta-ta.